Peace and blessings, family. It's your man Maarifa, and it's time for another Maarifa moment where knowledge is reborn. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, and we black. All right, so look, man, we got us a great topic today. I know I always say that, but we're going to be shifting gears and we're going to be concentrating more on African studies from here on out. So the Marifa moments are going to be a lot of African heavy centric topics that we're going to be discussing, so you don't want to miss out on any of that. Today's topic is about the black woman is God. So we got us a great one today. Can't wait to get into it. But before we do that, we're going to quick get our admin notes out the way. So, like you see here in the banner right here, we need you to like, subscribe, follow, and share all of our social media platforms at Maarifa Asar LLC. And then, second thing, in the link, there's going to be a link down in the description, maarifaasar.com. You see it in the banner, but it's also in the description. Go to maarifaasar.com, get you some fly gear, and represent the culture, the African culture today. You dig? I'm rocking the Maarifa Asar gear. You should too. Go over there to maarifaasar.com right after this video and get you some fly gear. Join the knowledge movement and represent the culture today. All right. We want you to also leave a comment in the comments down below and click the link, the bell, so that you will be notified whenever we drop a new video. All right. So now that that's out the way, let's get started. Let's get into it. The black woman is God. Oh man, such a controversial statement, for some and for many. When many people think about the black woman as God, when they hear that statement, they get so, the cognitive dissonance kick in and they get a little, disturbed by hearing that because they associate the word God, with the creator, the ultimate creator, you know what I'm saying, of the universe. When we say the black woman is God, we're not saying that the black woman, created the whole universe, created the sun, created the moon, created the air that we breathe. No, we're not saying that. What we're talking about are the attributes of the black woman, okay? Her capabilities. Now, the black woman is the only human being on the planet that is capable of creating all human races, you know what I'm saying? All human likenesses and all human characteristics, okay? So, in that way, in that essence, we're saying that the black woman is God because she shares some of those characteristics as a creator with the Most High, okay? So, from that perspective, we take a look at it and we see that the black woman is God, and we know that she birthed all, different races, different, ethnicities, different, phenotypes and these things of that nature. She's able and capable of handling all of that. We're going to break all that down. As you see here, she's created everything from, albinos, which is white people, you know what I'm saying, Africans, Asians, Latinos, you know what I'm saying? The black woman has created all of these different races, all of these different, phenotypes, blonde hair, blue eyes, you know what I'm saying? Brown eyes, kinky hair, straight hair, pointy nose. She's done it all. Okay, so we're going to discuss her capabilities. All right, so here, what you see here, this is the reconstruction of mitochondria Eve, the very first woman, that was, the oldest bones, rather, the Lucy bones that were found on the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? And they found these in Africa, okay? South Africa, in and around, South Africa region, Botswana, those areas in that nature. They found her bones in the Southeast African area. And she was, 200,000 years, excavated. They put her bones dated back to 200,000 years. And this is pretty much your great, 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 great grandmother and how she looked, of all humanity. She's the grandmother for all humanity, okay? Modern humanity, let's just say that. She had a mother as well. She wasn't the oldest female, but she had a mother herself. But as of today, the modern human, the Homo sapiens that you see, you know what I'm saying, today, this is the mother. This is our mother right here, okay? So as you know, you have DNA structures in your, molecular structure, and you have nuclear DNA, and then there's mitochondrial DNA. So your nuclear DNA, comes from both parents. You know what I'm saying? Your mother and your father. Everybody has those attributes, but you tie back your mitochondrial DNA from your mother's lineage, your matrilineal lineage. So your mitochondrial DNA, for those who are tracing it back, you're going to find out who your mother is, and that's who you distinguish yourself through that lineage. You know what I'm saying? So, like they say, mama's baby, papa's maybe. You know what I'm saying? So there's always, ways for you to figure out who you belong to. And they trace, the mitochondrial DNA. The mitochondrial DNA was traced all the way back to the Khoisan people in Africa, South Africa. Okay, so the Khoisan, along with the Pygmy, were the lineage that mitochondrial Eve, the Lucy Bones, likely came from. That was her, her group that she was a part of. So scientifically, we know that the black woman is the only organism on the planet that's capable of having this mitochondrial DNA that's in her, and she's able to create various possible life forms and different kinds of human beings on the planet with her DNA, and it mutates over time and with the environment. Okay, so she's able to create all types of phenotypes, with this mitochondrial DNA based on her environment and things that are going on around her when she's able to, mutate and create things. So you get a mutation of slanty eyes, you get a mutation of melanin, shades of melanin in the skin. You get a mutation of straight hair, or, thinner nostrils, or pointy nose, or wider nose. You know what I'm saying? But we're all going to have these characteristics of, having the similarities, with the two ears, two eyes, you know what I'm saying, a mouth, the two hands and 2 feet and all that stuff like that. So we're all going to have those characteristics, but the only difference is our skin color, the color of our eyes, the hair texture that we have, and the slantedness, of the eyes. So that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Everything else on the Homo sapien humans are pretty much similar, but the black woman is the only one capable, or who has all the phenotype, the DNA gene structure in order to, create those mutations. Okay. And we talk about mutations and how the black woman is able to create, different shades of people or races. So you have this mutation called oculine cutaneous, or OCA 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, for short. Oculine cutaneous is a pretty much a birth defect. Okay, it's a mutated birth defect from, a lack of melanin within the skin, and it also impacts the color of the hair and the color of your eyes. Okay, so if you see an albino, it's pretty much albinism. Okay, so when the African woman creates a baby, you know, the baby may come out, dark skin, or it may come out albino. You know what I mean? So there's a mutation that occurs based on the environment, based on her diet, based on, different things and aspects of, her pregnancy that she goes through, and the universe will dictate, what needs to be provided for this child in order for it to invite or survive, rather, in the environment that it's living in. Okay, so in that aspect, you say, okay, well, all of the black people came from Africa. That's why we have the melanated skin, because the sun is, UV rays and things like that, and we need to protect ourselves from the sun. So the Creator God, gave the black woman the capability of creating, through her DNA structure, those human beings, while she's developing human beings, to be able to have melanin in their skin to protect against the sun UV rays. All right, so it's a skin, absorbs the sun rays. The skin will absorb it if you have melanin in your skin. Where you have oculine cutaneous, where it's a birth defect, where you don't have, a lot of melanin in your skin. The melanin spectrum is very low. So these people will then, have a lack of melanin. All right. So when you have albinos who are born to black, women, and they have albino babies, those albino babies, got together or get together, and they have another albino baby. Eventually over time, you keep mating and mating and mating over time, you're going to get further and further away from the dark, melanin, spectrum, and the existence of melanin will be gone or non-existent, and that's how you have, white Europeans you have today. Okay, so that's how you have white people are today. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the melanin. So when you have melanin in your skin and you're exposed to the sun, you get darker. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have melanin in your skin, the blood will rise in your skin and you'll get sunburn. Okay, so that's what a lot of white people, they get sunburn because blood develops and it boils up in their skin instead of the protection of melanin, that absorbs the sun ray. They don't have that capability, so they can't be in the sun too long or they're going to burn up. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a scientific fact. That's nothing to be, talking harmful or harsh, or trying to, degrade anyone. That's just scientific fact. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing for anyone to be like, alarmed or surprised at. You know what I mean? So that's just is what it is. But the black woman is capable of creating all phenotypes and shades of color. And you have an example here. You have two black parents who created a white baby. All right. So you see right there that, it's possible for the black woman to create, all phenotypes and all races and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So here's another example of a family, had twins. One came out black, the other one came out albino white. And, you got the blonde hair and the blue eyes and the pale skin and things of that nature, just like, white Europeans you see on the street every day, but you see both the parents are black. You know what I'm saying? So that whole thing is to, show proof and evidence that the black woman is able to create all spectrums here. You see right here on the color scale, you know, the black woman is capable of creating, shades all the way through, from the darkest to the darkest, all the way to the lightest of the whitest. All right, but it's not possible for a white woman to create a dark, 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 dark baby. Okay, but it's possible for a black woman to create a white baby. Okay, so that's just scientific facts. It's not to, degrade anybody or nothing like that. But you'll never get two white people, a male and a female, two white people to come together and create a dark skinned baby. But you can get two black people, two dark skinned people who are able to create a white baby, like you saw in the video in the picture here. You know what I'm saying? So that's the possibility. But two white people cannot create a dark baby. That's impossible. All right. So you see all the many shades and the different textures of hair and the different, colors of skin and shades of skin and the slantedness of the eyes that the black woman is able to create. You know what I'm saying? She's able to create all the phenotypes and all of the different shades and then the different textures of hair. You know what I'm saying? So this is why we say that the black woman is God, and we talking about these aspects of her capabilities and her abilities, not things that she's able to do that are similar to some of the things that we attribute to God, the ultimate creator on high. All right. All right. Number two, we're going to get into how the evolution of humanity began and how it all started. So I want to read you this article from the National Institute of Health, and we're not going to read all of it. We're just going to take a look at a few things here. And it says here in the abstract that Africa is the birthplace of modern humans and is the source of geographic expansion of ancestral populations into other regions of the world. So we populated the entire planet, okay? Indigenous Africans are characterized by high levels of genetic diversity. All right, so we have different diversities that we're able to, create. The black woman is within between populations. So that tells you right there, genetically, we created the different diversities of races and ethnicities and phenotypes. All right. So the pattern of genetic variations in these populations has been shaped by demographic events occurring over the last 200,000 years. So this is what they're dating the Lucy bones back to, the mitochondrial Eve. They dated it back 200,000 years. Now, the dramatic variations in climate, diet, and exposure to infectious disease across the continent has also resulted in novel genetic and phenotypic adaptation in exact Africans. Okay, so you have different phenotypes, different adaptations that occurred. And then you see down here in the introduction, we're not going to read all this, but we just read this little bit, a few here, this paragraph. Modern humans evolved in Africa around 200,000 years. So we started out in Africa, okay, and have lived continuously on African continents no longer than any, or longer than rather, any other geographic region. All right, so Africa not only has the highest levels of human genetic variations in the world, but also contains a considerable amount of linguistic, environmental, and cultural diversity. So we created languages. We had different cultures, you know what I'm saying, differences and things that we created. We also populated humanity, you know what I mean? So there's different aspects of the African that are attributed to Africa, that they won't tell you about. But you have to go and research to know. All right. That's the National Institute of Health. All right. So they know scientifically that we are, the Africans are, the creators of it. And Africans here in America are descendants of those people, those African people. And we're all descendants of the African, humanity. Nonetheless, you got away from and you mutated away from the melanin in it. You're albino, or you know what I'm saying, you mutated away from the African gene out of the albinism. You know what I mean? So you have the Africans who are from a region, and they started out with the Lucy bones. The Lucy bones that were found in Southeast Africa. In Zambia, Botswana, South Africa area, the Congo. You know what I mean? So those regions that they found, those groups of people, those groups of Africans in that area were the first group to populate in the world. Okay. So they call them the, let's see if we can get to it. They call them the L zeros. So the L0 is the phenotype group that they traced their lineage back to the Khoisan people of South Africa, as well as the Pygmy. All right, the Pygmy in the South Central region of Africa. Okay, so L0 is patient zero. So as they grew and they expanded, their mitochondrial DNA structure, those haplogroups had expanded, into L1, L2s, L3s, and then they mutated over and had a mutation of albinism, so the African woman was able to create, a phenotype of maybe slanted eyes from the Khoisan, and those Khoisan people then migrated north, and they went northeast over to China and Asia and settled in those regions, and then they had albino babies, and then their skin began to become lighter and lighter and lighter. So then the albino was created, with the Dravidian, the Indian, which is the Indian, and then they had the straight hair. They started out melanated, and they had the straight hair and the pointy nose. Those are the Indian, you know what I mean? So you have different phenotypes that the African woman has created, and those phenotypes from different groups have migrated out from the original source area that they were in southern Africa, and they went north and expanded northwest and east, and then and eventually made their way south and into the Americas, and then ultimately the Caribbeans. So what you see here, you have the migration of how it occurred, out of Africa. This is the out of Africa model, the out of Africa theory, and how the world was populated by Africans. They started out going traveling north, then they eventually went over into Asia, and then, Southern Asia, which is, in India, Australia area, and they migrated to the east and went west, you know what I'm saying, in Europe, and then as the ice age occurred, the Bering Strait was a land bridge where they were able to cross over into the Americas and then settle into those lands way before, thousands of years before Christopher Columbus was ever even born or ever even thought of. You know what I'm saying? So Africans were already populated in those lands and in those regions. That's why you hear a lot of arguments and people saying that I'm not indigenous to Africa, or I was here in this land and I'm an American and this, that, and the third, which is half and half, true, what I'm saying, because our descendants, our great descendants who, migrated out of Africa started from Africa first. So you are an African, you know what I'm saying, first, above wherever your people settled later on, throughout their life history and stuff and that natures, so your great, 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 great ancestors and descendants came out of Africa first. Okay, so that's why people are able to identify as being African, even though they don't have family, from Africa specifically, right now. But we're just saying your descendants are from Africa. Okay, so we know that the Africans had migrated out. We were the first navigators to populate the entire planet. Okay, so we went out as hunter gatherers and we went out in search of food and resources. And then we started settling in different parts of the world in the lands and things of that nature. And then we had babies. And then when we had babies, we just pretty much started creating all types of phenotypes. The African woman was able to create all types of phenotypes based on her environment, based on the diet that was in that environment. And then her phenotypes came out according to, whatever that region, called for. You know what I'm saying? So she can have like a dark, dark, dark skinned baby, or a lighter shade baby, or a baby with a slanty nose that don't need to breathe a lot of air in, or a baby with a wide nose that needs to breathe more air into the lungs, or a baby with kinky hair, or a baby with straight long hair to cover, what I'm saying, the back of the neck to keep it warm, or the hairy, you know what I'm saying, those type of phenotypes, that are different attributes that the black woman is able to create. And then she created the albino, the first albino babies. Then those babies, albinos, started coming together and mating and having other albino babies, and that's how you get away from the African, genotype, the phenotype of the African gene, and you started mutating into another race of people. That's how you develop all of these, white Europeans who are on the planet today, and the white Asians and the white Latinos who look, like Europeans, and all over the planet. The white Hispanics, that look, like Europeans, because they have that mutation, what I'm saying, of the oculine cutaneous, mutation away from the melanin that we discussed earlier. Okay, so that's how we migrated and populated the world. We were the first navigators of the planet, and the first Homo sapiens were Africans, as the National Institute of Health have already, pretty much declared through our DNA structure. All right, so the evidence is scientifically there. Is not, to degrade or say I'm superior than or I'm better than some group or anything of that nature. We don't have any complexes where, Africans don't have any complex where we feel like we are better than any one group. That's a white thing. White Europeans, they do that with white supremacy. Africans, we pretty much are loving, peaceful people, and for the most part, so we don't really have those, insecurities that we deal with. But we populated the world. And you can read about that, the migration, the great migration, and the mitochondrial DNA, and how, Africa was, the start of humanity, in Stephen Oppenheimer's book, Out of Eden. I recommend this is a pretty good read. You know what I'm saying? It explains and breaks everything down. Stephen Oppenheimer was a white European anthropologist, what I'm saying, out of England and British and stuff like that. So he was, studied in Oxford and all this, that, and the third, and he did a lot of excavations and sites of bones, and they, traced DNA structures back to African people, and he came to the conclusion with the evidence that, after all of the bone structures, the fossils and stuff that they found, the cave drawings and all of the things that they found on their exploration excavations and things of that nature, and they discovered that, Africans were very intelligent. We were, the first navigators of the planet because our bones are found everywhere in the world, all over the world. You have African bones all over the world. We have languages that we wrote on in stone on the walls in the caves and things of that nature. So we were able to articulate things that we were going through, at that time in history, and explain it. So they were teaching their children. So we had all different types of, great, knowledge and great, dexterities that we have, attributes that we have as a people, as African people. And, Stephen Oppenheimer, he wrote about it, you know what I'm saying? And he told the truth, things that you won't hear in your regular classroom on African people in history. You have to do your research and your homework and dig in order to find this information, because with white supremacy, they're trying to, eliminate any historical, proof and evidence of African, greatness and African achievement in order to keep us suppressed in, white supremacy under the white supremacist system. That's it. That's all we have for today. You know what I'm saying? We were in and out with the knowledge real quick. You know what I'm saying? We didn't keep you long, but we gave you something valuable, that you can marinate on and think about, how great your people are and be proud. You know what I'm saying? You should be proud to be African or African descent. You know what I'm saying? Your ancestors did some great and marvelous things that you can be proud of. So, quick reminder, go ahead over to maarifasar.com. The link is in the description. You know what I'm saying? Go and get you some gear and rep the knowledge movement, rep the culture, you know what I'm saying, and be proud. Get you some African related gear and be proud to rep the culture, you know what I'm saying. Leave a comment in the comment. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like bell as well, so you can be notified when we have another video drop, because we're going to be dropping a lot more knowledge about African people and the achievements and accomplishments of African people in the future going forward. All right, so you don't want to miss out. We have a lot more to come. We have such an extensive and great history as African people that we're going to touch into, that we're just getting started. You know what I'm saying? And we just at the very beginnings. Okay, so you don't want to miss out. So, like I said, you know what I'm saying? This is your man Maarifa, and knowledge has been reborn. So, the more you know, the more you'll grow, and the better off we all shall be. So, until next time, I'll say love and light. Peace. Let's go.
All right, we made it. We made it. Live at Seneferu's Pyramid. Okay, Seneferu built this